Hi guys, B here. Today I've got an interview with someone unexpected. How many of you have been to the Hillingdon Outdoor Activity Centre? Probably a few. It's a popular school trip or scout trip sort of thing to do. Who knew that there's a Hillingdon Junior Canoe Club? Probably less of you. It's still a pretty cool thing to be involved in. But did you know that a member of the Hillingdon Junior Canoe Club has gone on to be a global freestyle kayaking competitor? That's pretty cool. And what's cooler is it's a woman. Today I'm interviewing Heidi Walsh. She's brilliant, inspiring, and I really hope you enjoy meeting her.
Heidi, how are you today? You good?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm excited for the interview. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I am a GB team kayaker. Currently living in France, working for an international ski academy as a strength and conditioning intern.
That's cool.
I'm just a general adventurer. I love triathlons. I really got into that in the last year. Just anything outside, pretty much, I'm well game for.
What is kayaking?
Kayaking is very broad. So the most basic form is you sit in a boat in kind of like a frog-like position with your legs bent, and you have two blades on a paddle, and you go in a straight line. And then from there, once you get the basics, then you can go into different disciplines. So you've got freestyle kayaking and whitewater kayaking, which are my two. But then you've also got slalom, canoe polo, sea kayaking. Like there are so many different things that you can do with it. You can just take it wherever you like, really.
Cool. More specifically, what is freestyle kayaking?
So freestyle kayaking is the closest you can get to gymnastics in a kayak, essentially. You're on a whitewater course, you stay in one place in what's called a feature. It can be either a wave or a hole. You have 45 seconds, and each move you perform is like gymnastics. It has a different difficulty, which has a different score, and then you get your score after the end of 45 seconds, and you just try and do the best you can.
So I saw one of your other interviews, you were talking about like getting more points if you get big air or...
Yeah, so you can get different bonuses. So my style is kind of doing less tricks, but doing them bigger than everyone else. So you get air bonuses. But another kind of style that you can do is when you link moves together. So you do lots and lots of moves in quick succession, you get bonuses for that too. So you can kind of mold your ride into whatever style you prefer.
That's really cool. It reminds me a little bit about of like the Olympic snowboarding, and that's sort of like...
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, any freestyle discipline is very, very similar. Yeah.
What got you into kayaking and freestyle kayaking?
So before I started kayaking, I used to be a swimmer. I used to swim for Hillingdon Swimming Club. And then at the end of every season, we go to HOAC, which is like the local outdoor activity centre. And we just try a different sport every season, just as like team bonding, team building. So we did a bit of sailing, windsurfing, kayaking. And then one year, me and my friends did like a week-long course. And I really enjoyed it. So I joined the local canoe club, Hillingdon Junior Canoe Club. And then from there, they got me all of the contacts. And it just kind of grew massively from that point on.
What made you keep doing it? What kind of grabbed you?
I think from the swimming background, I had really good lungs and quite big shoulders. So I was very well suited to it, which meant that I picked it up really quick, and then I got good quite quick. But also the community was awesome. Like everyone just kind of took me to the next step, and everyone was so welcoming that it was easy to progress as well, because opportunities were always there for you.
Do you need any specialist equipment?
I would probably say yes. It is quite a niche sport, so it's good to have the specific kit. But when you're starting off and you join a local club, they'll have everything for you, and then you get to try a piece of everything as well before you commit to buying a certain type of kayak. You get to learn what you enjoy most, and then from that point on, then you can get quite specific. So there's quite a lot of scope to keep it really broad until you find your niche.
That's cool. I was part of the Hillingdon Junior Canoe Club for a million years, and I was into more racing and stuff like that, slalom, and then we got a racing kayak in the shed at the Hillingdon Junior Canoe Club, and you couldn't get me out of it. So there's loads of different shapes of boats, and then also stuff like spray decks. Could you explain to us what a spray deck is?
Yeah, so a spray deck looks like a skirt, and it's neoprene usually. You put it around your waist, and then you kind of pull it over the cockpit of your kayak, which means that no water comes in, so you don't sink. You stay nice and warm. It's just great.
Yeah. And I imagine that when you're doing freestyle and you're in that white water, helmets and stuff like that are kind of a necessity.
Yeah, absolutely. Helmets, buoyancies, all of the safety kit, like for just in case, always. Absolutely.
Yeah, kind of as a follow-on from that, is kayaking an expensive sport to get into?
I would say it's quite expensive, but actually when you compare it to other adventure sports, it's cheap. So for example, a kayak can go from £100 secondhand to £3,000 specialist custom made carbon fiber. Like, it gets really silly. But then actually when you compare that to road cycling, for example, bikes can be like 10,000. So it really depends what your expensive is. So I would say it's expensive, but then if you're coming from a different background, then it's probably quite cheap. Like, getting into it is so easy. All you have to do is join a canoe club, and often that's like £25 to £50 for the year, which is nothing. And then from that point on, you have access to so much stuff, and you can try any type of kayaking that you like, and then you find your favorite one, and then you go from there. So yeah, it's really easy.
So you've been competing for Great Britain for a while now, and so you joined the senior team in 2017, right?
Yeah.
So how did you go from having a paddle on the lake for fun to competing?
Yeah, so interestingly, when I was at Hillingdon, there were two boys there. One was called Hugo Anthony, who actually won the Junior Men's World Championships in 2015. And the other one, Sam Valman, who is now pushing to be on the men's team with us this year. And I think he could easily make it. So the two boys there were so useful to have around. And then Hugo's mum took me kayaking, took me to Hugo's coach, took me to the next squad. Like, it was so easy to just be taken places and have everything set out for you. And then I got more into whitewater. I got more into competitions. So for juniors, they do a thing called Young Guns Freestyle, which is all for under 18s, and it's just a really good way to go out, have fun, meet awesome people. And then there was obviously GB team trials, which I did 1 year. And then I managed to make reserve in 2015 for that World Championships when I was a junior. So I went to Canada, went to just have fun, enjoy myself. I met friends that are now friends for life from all over the world. We've stayed in touch. I never got to compete because I was a reserve, but arguably it was probably my favorite World Championships despite that. And then from that point onwards, you just keep competing, keep meeting new people, and without really thinking about it, just because you love it, you get good quite quick just because you're committed. And then next thing you know, I'm like, yeah, I've been on it for quite a while now. I'm feeling quite old.
So when you started out, you were the youngest ever, or just the youngest in the team?
In 2017, I was the youngest senior in the team. That has since changed. I think I was the youngest in 2019 as well, but then obviously our juniors are getting quite good now, so they're on the team too. Yeah, and then it's weird because there's quite a big age gap. Like, I was 18, 19 at the time, and then the second youngest was like 26, 27. So there was like quite a gap, but everyone's so nice that it makes no difference anyway. And then from now on, there have been so many more girls coming into the sport that like it's been a lot more diverse.
I guess you've kind of already answered part of it, but like, what does it feel like to compete on a global stage?
Yeah, it feels awesome. Absolutely. Interestingly, I've never been one for winning. I've always been one for doing the best I can and trying to always do better than what I've done previously. If that means I win, great. But if it means I come middle of the pack and I've done the best I can and I've enjoyed it, that's also awesome. So for me, World Championships is more about seeing my favorite people that I only get to see every 2 years from all over the world, living like an elite athlete, just like living that life of eat, sleep, train, repeat, socialize. Like it's just amazing. I love the atmosphere, definitely.
What would you say are the kind of physical and mental health benefits of kayaking?
The physical benefits would be, surprisingly, kayaking is a whole body activity and people don't realize that. Like there's so much going on with your legs, your core, your shoulders. Like it's just so good for you. And then the mental health, I think, is unbelievable. Like you're outside all the time, you're with nature, you're with a really good group of people. You just get to switch off for that time because you often can't bring your phone with you. You can't bring anything with you. It's just you, your boat, and just everything around you is awesome. It's good.
So if you could only pick one thing, what do you most love about kayaking?
They kind of come hand in hand. So the people, absolutely. The people, the community in kayaking is just amazing. They're friends for life and they live often so far away from you, but it doesn't matter at all. You're always a phone call away. And then because everyone's so far, like it kind of comes hand in hand. So I don't know if you'll take two. I've never left Europe before I started kayaking, and it's taken me to 5 continents, I'm going to say. God knows how many countries, maybe 4 continents, I might be lying. But like the travel is just unreal. You get to see so many different things, and from a perspective that no one else gets to see. Like from a river is so special because not everyone can do that. It's really awesome.
You kayaked the White Nile, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, it was absolutely mind-blowing. Like it's the volume of water, I've never seen anything that big before. It was a real step up for me. But then also the culture, going to Africa for the first time, living on this like paradise island in the middle of the river that you can only access by boat. It was just mind-blowing. Like it was unreal.
Our audience are young women and they're trying to find an exercise, a physical activity, a sport that suits them. So what do you wish they knew about kayaking?
I wish they knew that you don't have to be the best to go kayaking. You can just go out and get some, and everyone's so enthusiastic and everyone's stoked that you're stoked. And then next thing you know, you're just having the best day ever, and no one's even thought about the kayaking. Like it's just so much fun that you can just take it as far as you want or as little as you want. Like it's just either way, you'll have a great time.
Finally, is there anything, a club, a charity, a fundraiser? Is there anything that you'd like our young people to check out and support?
Yeah, so in Hillingdon especially, there's a company called Square Rock, and they're just based in Harefield, and they've been my second family since the very beginning. They've always helped me out, always supported. They're the best people to go and chat to, and they'll supply you with any kit you like. And then they introduced me to the whole world of kayaking, and it just gets bigger from there. So Square Rock, absolutely. I'm also sponsored by Jackson Kayaks and Streamlight Paddles, who've helped me big time in places of need. Not even with kayaks, just like a floor to sleep on, some like a seat in a car just to go to the river. Like everyone's so handy. And finally, also the Rob George Foundation. They have helped fund some of my kayaks when the custom ones have just got too expensive for me, and they've really helped me out in that sense too.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure that that like kayaking isn't a sport that a lot of people have access to or even know exists. I know that I'd mentioned that I was going kayaking at school and people would be like, what? So hopefully having heard from a pretty local GB athlete in a sport like kayaking will be a massive boost. So thank you again so much for joining us.
At all.
Massive thank you to Heidi for being such an amazing guest. Wasn't she brilliant? So, if you want to support her, the businesses, or the charities she mentioned, then you'll find that information down in the comments below. That's also where you can leave us any questions and suggest a sport for me to explore next. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for joining us. Bye!